Hello everyone, it's me, GamePango21, and today we are here to talk about a few different things, and, well, I don't know if I'm going to mainly talk about this topic at hand, but I just wanted to talk about a couple different things at the beginning of this video before we get into the actual meat and potatoes of this actual video. Yes, I am stealing that quote from someone else. Anyway, so essentially, what's been happening this week? Well, in the commentary community, someone had a bad take. Whoop-de-doo. I mean, it's a big thing when someone has a bad take, but this one is quite interesting. So we'll just talk about this then, instead of getting to what I actually wanted to talk about, because I think that this is a good thing to just talk about. So yeah, for those of you who haven't known, or have known about this, Griffin Gaming themselves is kind of turning into a hypocrite. A little bit, kind of, sort of, And, in all honesty, it's just weird. If I'm going to be honest, it's just kind of weird. The entirety of the situation basically seems to have started with Griffin having one bad take, but continuing to have those bad takes over time. And yeah, while I have defended him in the past, this right here has kind of made me lose a little bit of respect for the guy. Which is weird, considering that I used to not like the Review Tech USA stuff because he was making bad takes like this all the time. But now it's kind of the opposite, where, you know, Review Tech USA is actually covering some pretty good stuff, staying out of drama for the most part, but at the same time, yeah, there are certain things where you just have to draw a line and say, you know, Griffin, maybe think twice about what you're saying. Maybe. And this is coming from somewhere who actually respects you a lot. Like, I really do. Again, I have an entire video, defending your actions over a different controversy and stuff. And, yeah, but this one, honestly, there really is a hard time just justifying your actions. Like, I can see where you're coming from, but at the same time, there's a lot of problems with it, and we'll get into that right now. So I think that this all really started with Griffin Gaming posting a, well, not a video, but a YouTube community post saying, oh, wasn't that amazingness of Call of Duty awesome? Or something like that. I don't know. I think that's where it kind of started. That's what I saw, and I saw a lot of, at least some people being like, oh, wow, how could you say this? And I'm like, I kind of see that. I mean, I'm excited for Call of Duty as well, but honestly, I really don't want to be pre-ordering a game for $70. I'll still probably buy it, but at the same time, it's really only because a friend of mine's probably also going to buy it, and I want to play with him. That's really the only reason why. And again, $70 American dollars, that's kind of a lot. I'll be waiting for the open beta, though. So, yeah, this might be posted by that time the open beta happens, but whatever. Next up is a lot of people start clowning on him, obviously, and then he just does a live stream. And, oh boy, does this live stream just not sit well with anyone. So, yeah. Let's look at this. So this isn't the full clip, unfortunately, because this is taken from a tweet from another person, but we'll get into some of the more interesting tidbits that I wanted to talk about, and we're missing, like, the last minute of this. So I'm going to say all of that up front. Maybe the last minute, like, trying to justify his actions, but we're going to look at least the parts that I really wanted to talk about for this clip, because yeah, it's pretty bad. Also, again, sorry for the low and terrible quality. You have to remember this is recording of a recording of a recording. So, yeah, not the greatest in terms of, like, upload quality, but I'll try to make it work, and I'll try to do my normal style to try to make it look as good as possible. So, yeah. Anyway.
I don't know, man. I don't need to hear the perspective of a bunch of brokies who can't even fucking buy it anyway. Like, fuck off. Like, I had people going like, you're encouraging Nvidia to constantly raise the price. Good, I fucking hope they double it next year, you sick piece of shit.
Oh boy, Griffin. Oh boy. I remember I did see this actual video, but the video that I originally saw this from was Klutzy King. He covered it, and so now I'm covering it. And yeah, again, I wanted to actually cover a different video than this one, but we'll get into that. We'll get into that, and I might still cover it later, but not important. What is important is that this right here is so like, you do realize that while, yeah, at the same time, uh, saying like, oh, I don't want to hear from a bunch of brokies who, what the fuck, man? Like, I get that you're trying to be maybe a little bit edgy in this context, but dude, you're saying that if you're not going out there and getting that bread, that you're, like, broke or whatnot. It's kind of ridiculous in that context where it's just so stupid to say that. Like, why would you say that? I don't even have anything really clever to say on top of it, really, so it's probably going to come off as me being, like, whiny and bitchy, but you know what? Listen, Griffin, you gotta understand, people can't afford to feed other people, and $1,600, and what we were talking about is like the Nvidia prices, and this is for one part, $1,600 for one in particular graphics card part, just the one, not even a full computer. And we'll get into that in a little bit later, but just keep in mind that he does tend to keep this energy for the rest of the clip.
I don't know, man. I just fucking hate people like that. So much. Get a fucking job and get off of YouTube. Holy fuck.
Yeah, so this being a live clip, there's going to be a lot of, like, pauses and things that I'm going to just skip past because, in all honesty, he doesn't say much. And, again, I've known that I have a few things that I don't say much times, but at the same time, shit happens. In all honesty, like, it's so fucking stupid to even consider the fact that that he said this. And again, where have I've heard this argument somewhere before. I mean, I'm fairly certain I've heard this. Oh, right. Doubling the price of Xbox Gold. Jeez. Griffin, you've already called someone out for this exact argument that you're using, saying that if you don't have the money, don't get into gaming like this. And some people are going to be like, oh, well, that's a completely different topic entirely. It's because they were trying to double a system that they already had established, and then, that was bad because they were doing it in a wrong way. But yeah, doubling the price of a subscription service. But you don't need that subscription service for the reasons of having the internet. It's like, yeah, but you need it to have the Xbox, otherwise your Xbox isn't online, and most of the games nowadays are online. Yeah, but at the same time, you don't need to pay for online, and paying for online is stupid. It's like, yes, I understand that, and I get that. But at the same time, if you want to talk about more physical stuff, how about video games going up in price? Or how about calling the price increase of the PlayStation 5 for the $50 uptick? I know that you've talked about that. I know you've called that on its bullshit. Gee, isn't that quite interesting how you are talking about the same thing when you're talking how your freaking stuff changes whenever you're talking about something else, whenever you're talking about something that you are excited for and want. While, yeah, copying a 4090 is kind of a flex, to be clear, if you're willing to pay $1,600 for just one GPU part, that's got to be a pretty fucking expensive computer. And yeah, certainly, you can sell your parts for a lower cost, technically, but what if someone wants to keep certain parts and build like a backup PC in case the other one fails for some reason? Or what if they want to use the parts to kind of replace and build like a server for some reason? I know that's what I'd probably do with some of the parts that are in my computer, where I'd take out the motherboard, I'd take out the certain other aspects, build an entirely separate PC just for VR or something like that. That's kind of what I'd do if I had the money. But in any case, it's weird how his entire like system changes for the reason of basically fucking going at it. You know, it's weird to me how the situation and the tone changes whenever you're talking about something that you're excited for.
You either die a hero, or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain.
And that's the scary thing is, too, we're not even talking about a lot of money. It's literally fucking $1,500, man. That is not a life-changing sum for any human being on this planet.
Right. $1,500 is not a life-changing sum for anyone on the planet. Are you sure about that, bro? I mean, that same $1,500 was what was able to get me into making videos in the first place. That $1,500 basically built this YouTube channel. Why? Because I got a laptop for that exact amount with an i7 core processor laptop edition with a 1060 laptop edition also, around I think 16 gigs of RAM and a fully built super slim sized gaming PC that actually could run games fairly well. Not only that, it could also run VR, which I made sure about because that's what I wanted to get the PC for in case I wanted to get VR later, which I did because it was awesome and I loved it. Gee, it's almost like $1,500 is actually a lot of money to a lot of different people. Yeah, when you have a job and your job pays you a lot of money, you might not think that $1,600 is that much money to drop on a new graphics card or something like that. But the majority of the people don't have that kind of money just lying around for no reason. You want to know why? You know what else that $1,500 was able to do? It was able to get me through classes. It was able to get me some extra time to work on some of the projects and art things that I wanted to do. Again, it was able to get me through college, at least for the first couple of years. A 2-year investment of $1,500 that I'm still using today. Yes, I still have the laptop. I recently wiped it, or recently reinstalled Windows and stuff on it to make it into a different PC. But at the same time, I can take that laptop, plug it in to, say, my wall or whatever, and turn it into a freaking shared server between things. It's almost like that $1,500 is still paying itself off all these years later. And again, that was around, I think, 4 or 5 years ago. $1,500 is a lot of money for a lot of people. And I'd made sure that I had a PC or had a laptop that would at least last me through college. I might even take that thing and flip it for money after I wipe it again and say, hey, anyone want this for, again, that's $1,500. And I'm fairly certain that price, I recently looked it up, it's still the same amount. That $1,500 for that same exact build laptop, the Stealth, Asus Pro or something like that, it's still $1,500. I could still flip it for, say, $1,000 and people would probably pay for it. Yeah, sir, it's not a huge, yeah, sure, it's beat up to shit and stuff, and I'd probably have to wipe it again, and I'm not sure if I'd be able to keep the stickers, because the stickers are limited edition stuff, so I might not even sell it. I don't know. I'm not a freaking horse whisperer, but at the same time, the whole price of $1,500 can get you a lot. It can literally get you an entire PC build that might not be as powerful as a 40 series, but is assembled for far cheaper, and you might even have extra money on top of that to get games. $1,500 is not insignificant for those people who do not have the $1,500. It's almost like money can have value to other people and can be very different, depending on especially where you live. Again, very interesting how he calls out that $1,500 is not that big of a sum of money, yet we'll call out Sony and we'll call out Xbox people for defending the uptick in prices for other services and games and their even console stuff. And you might be thinking, oh, well, the earlier argument of him saying that the whole thing is different than consoles, which are made for people with less money, that's a different situation entirely. No, it's fucking not. Not necessarily, anyway. Well, yeah, at the same time, it sucks that $1,500 is the price for the NVIDIA graphics card. It's still a lot of money, and yeah, it's an enthusiast level thing, and it will last you a number of years, but I don't see any need to upgrade past a 3090 as of right now. And I know I don't have a 3090, I only have a 1080 in my computer, But eventually I might uptick to get a bigger thing, like a better fucking shit. You know what I mean. I might upgrade later, but not right now. Anyway, rambling over. Continuing on with the clip.
Like, people are acting like this is the price of a fucking car. No, it's like $1,000, bro. If you sell your existing GPU and buy it, you're probably gonna spend $1,000. Which, this is the top of the line card. Less than 1% of the market is probably gonna buy it. It's just so fucking annoying.
Again, I find it interesting how he calls this stuff out for other things and other companies, for the uptick in prices for games. And again, I'm a business student too, and I understand where he's coming from. And I'm going to kind of go through what I think his logic might be, at least a little bit. His whole thing is saying that the reason why the uptick in the prices for the graphics card is that it's, of course, again, an enthusiast level device. Not a lot of people are going to buy it. So they have to keep the price up in order to get more profit out of it. That's what an enthusiast level or like a cost benefit, whatever the fuck analysis will tell you. Any business student can really tell you that. But at the same time, that doesn't mean that people can't complain or people can't like criticize a company for charging that amount of money for something else of that. And again, it's weird to me that he, even as a business student, can't see that this might cause at least some issue and it will lock out certain parts of the market and stuff. I'm fairly certain that he does see that, but this clip does not paint him good. And yeah, so I can see where he's coming from when he says that, but at the same time, it still doesn't really look that good for you.
Yeah, like, the thing is like, less than probably 5% of the entire PC market would even consider buying a 4090. But yet everyone's outraged over the price of something they're never gonna fucking buy. I don't get it. It's not like this is a fucking console or some bullshit. Where it's like literally marketed towards people who don't have a lot of money to spend on fucking gaming hardware.
Ah yes, because a console is different than a PC part. I mean, in theory, you're not wrong. And again, in the grand scheme of things, you're not entirely wrong. And the price might eventually go down, but $1,600 as the starting price is pretty fucking expensive. And in all honesty, to most people, it's not going to be worth it. And yeah, you're going to say like less than 5% of the market is going to buy this card. It's like, yeah, of course, now less than 5% of the market is going to buy this card because it is so expensive that only around less than 5% of the market can maybe even afford this card. It's not the same thing as generally increasing the price across the board for products, like certain existing products due to other reasons. But at the same time, that doesn't mean that people can't complain about things. Yeah, it gets annoying. Yeah, it understands. But you have to understand where they're coming from. If you're looking at this from a business perspective, it's really good. Because then that means that your profit margins are going to be pretty high. But if you're looking at this from a consumer perspective, you are getting fucked over by this price. Fucked over. Again, for that same $1,600, you can buy a used car. A pretty decent one at that. I mean, a friend of mine recently got like a super old van kind of deal for practically free with I don't remember the specific brand, the specific like name of it, but that's like super lucky that he was able to get that car for free and sub 100,000 miles. Like this thing had I think around 15-20k miles on it, and this car was fucking old. Like I think a 1990s type van. I think maybe even before that. I don't remember specifically. He told me this once, but he got that car for practically free, and no money needed to get it. It didn't need too much restoration or didn't need much money to be put into it. But in all honesty, that's a free fucking car. Like, a free fucking van that he can use and customize to his heart's content. For fucking free. And again, that's not even getting to some other used cars where you can get like a car that costs around $1,600 and is pretty decent. You can go down and get a used one. You can go down and do this. It's not the same thing across the board. $1,600 is a lot of money. Would you rather have, again, a fully functional, perfectly cromulent laptop that can do anything and was even better than my desktop before I upgraded it? Like, literally. Because I spent like $500 on my desktop. But it was even better in some cases than this desktop. That $1,500 laptop was better in some cases than my desktop currently is. And still is. But at the same time, would you rather have that whole fully functional computer, or again, even a moderately $1,600 computer or $1,500 fully customized out to your liking computer, or would you just like to get one card? Like, literally just one card is a lot. And again, he said like, oh, you can sell your stuff and maybe only be spending $1,000. That's still $1,000 loss of an investment into something. If you had to invest in something but lose $1,000, but gain like better technology, like for a company that's fine, but for an individual person that's more of a hobbyist, I don't think that's totally fine if they can't swing the money that way. And again, you're saying that you're just to buy this part, you might get $1,000. You might be spending $1,000. What if someone undercharges you? What if someone just steals your graphics card? What if someone doesn't want to pay the full amount? What if someone pays less than that amount that you asked for? Or if they pay more? Like, they could pay more, but not everyone's going to want to do that. What if you give your PC away because you gave it as a gift for someone else? It's not the same equivalency. There's a lot of factors that have to go in to get it to even that $1,000 mark. It is stupid to say that. Anyway, let's continue. We have only 20 seconds left of this, and we'll wrap it up. I've talked for way too long on this.
Like, that's the whole point of a console, or like lower-end GPUs, or the previous generation GPUs. Like, of course, if you buy the top-of-the-line, brand-new, most powerful graphics card on the market, you're gonna...
And then the clip cuts off there. Unfortunately, again, there's another, like, minute of this that I don't really think that I want to go into. But, yeah, so the video just cuts off there. Really, there's nothing else to talk about. And I've talked your ear off long enough. In all honesty, Griffin, I've defended you before, I've praised you, and I thought that you were a good person, and you still are a good person for the most part. It's just that this is a very bad take. Same thing with the Modern Warfare one. Still a bad take. You can be excited for things, you can be amazingly for it, but in the great words of Crap Gamer,
keep that same energy.
Thank you so much for watching this video. My name is GamePenguin21, and a peace off.